Hi guys, it's Blackie. If it's Friday, it's down in Dirty Woodscraft. Okay, today we're going to do a simple little project. We're going to do got a root I'm standing on. We're going to do a project of making a pot hook. Now I need one of these for a project I'm working on. And so I need to match up. So I found a yopon, which is the trees like you see in the background back there. And they are everywhere down here in the south, and you can coppice them pretty easy. Coppice is a fancy word meaning you can cut a limb off and it'll grow right back. You can cut off a yopon and it'll just split there and become 4 more trunks. So as long as you left the tree intact, it will come back, just a big bush. And so this isn't killing anything. Now I've got 2 that are not ideal. This one's got a good V on it, and that one's kind of like not exactly. But what I'm wanting is something that's got a real easy pot hook that I can hang a bail on real quick. And so that straight in and straight out is what's interesting me. I want to make this go up and attach just like that. And these 2 little pieces will anchor together just like that, and I think will do the job pretty well. See, they fit together fairly well. Now what we got to do is do a little bit of trimming. So when you're deciding on this, figure out which hooks you need and also which way you want to do it. Now there's a balancing act here, because when you get it up here, they've got to be in such a position that whenever it's hooked on it, remember this is going to be over a crossbar or something right there, that this one's got to be facing some way that you can easily put the pot on and off. Don't have it off like that. It'll always be an awkward way to take the pot off and on, and it'll change the load. You never want it 90 degrees to this, because then when it puts the load, it wants to twist. You want it so that with that hook, it wants to, when you hook it on there, it wants to roll under. If I hooked it that way, where the 2 hooks are going in the same direction, and I hook it when I do that, it wants to curl under further. Okay, so that would work real well. The 2 on the same side, hook it, and then whenever you put the weight on it, it may center up. Now a big stick for a cross member, it might not. It may want to pull it back, and that might make this downhill. So you want to work out your geometry before you start hooking it together. The way that I'm going to do it for this one is going to be just like this right here. That on that side, that on that side. Just like that. That seems to work the best. Now how I'm going to attach this. Right here, about where my thumb is, about a 1/2 inch in from this end, I'm going to put a 7 notch on both of this. And up here at the top, I'm going to put a 7 notch. So I'm going to grip it tight to mark my place. I'm going to take my knife, which I am using my WC Knives Gray Man, Fuel the Fires plug. And I'm going to get right here and I'm going to put a mark on both of them so I can tell exactly where that's at. Just like that. And then I'm going to get, lining them up, I'm going to come down here to another position where I'm going to grip it. And I'm just going to scar it where I can find it again. And know that those 2 are lined up. Just like this. That little bitty mark, and then that. Okay, now I've lined them up, and I've got a mark there and a mark there. Those line up to the perspective marks on the side. Now I'm going to take my knife, I'm going to cut a 7 notch at both locations, because I'm going to have something to anchor in there, because that's going to be the difference. We're not going to put these together with string. We're going to do these like a family member showed me when I was a boy. He was making hooks for a tobacco barn. What it was is you'd take and grow tobacco for yourself, and he would make I don't know, a 20-foot wide, 100-foot long strip of tobacco that he would plant. He would then harvest that, and he would make these hooks up, and you'd take a big hunk of leaves that he would line up the leaves and then tie them with that old baling twine they used for hay bales, stuff like that. And then he would take a pair of these hooks and he would hook it in that twine, and he would hook it in the rafters of his barn to let it dry over the summer. Now it would take quite a while to dry out, but in the heat of our summer, it didn't take long, so to speak. And it would be good and dried out, and then he could turn it into pipe tobacco. So I remember sitting there on the back porch with him with our pocket knives, whittling out these hooks. Now what I'm doing in each of these places is simply cutting a little 7 notch. It's just something for it to hook into and keep it. Now this is going to be going over a fire. So should I use what to anchor it? Well, here's a clue. If I use cordage of any kind, it might get too hot, now mightn't it? Now, most part, no. I often use bank line to anchor and make trammels to go up and down. Boy, I'm tongue-tied today, ain't I? To make trammels for hanging up pot hooks and things. But this time I'm going to use wire, because wire won't matter, so to speak. Wire don't care it gets hot. The wood is weaker than the wire. And I can tell you for a fact that wire was used a lot back in the day, especially by farmers and stuff like that, because it was everywhere. I can remember being a boy and being given the job of unwinding a broom. You know, when a broom just got wore down, it was too short to be used in the house. Well, back that up. The good broom was in the kitchen. That was the best broom in the house, and it stayed there. The old broom that used to be in the kitchen, but now it's got a little too old, that's moved up and it stays where it sweeps off the front porch, the front walk, the things like that, okay, the steps. When it wore down too far for that, it became the yard broom. That's when they would get out there and actually sweep the yard to get stuff out, leaves and stuff. He didn't have a rake, they had a broom to get stuff out of the sand and stuff around the house on the farm. And when it finally wore down, when it was too short for that, they would pull the nail and take that wire off at the head of the broom, and then burn the straw, save the wood handle for some job, and save that wire for some job like this, because that wire was very, very useful for jobs like this. And so because of that, I can remember sitting there taking apart a broom before to do this job. Now that I have gone and cut just little anchor notches in the top and bottom, just like this. So there's my notch, and then down there's the other notch. Now, I'm using plain old safety wire. You can get this stuff at any hardware store or whatever, and it comes in different thicknesses. This is the thin stuff. But while I was in West Virginia, my friend Mr. Hook of Hook's Outdoors had a supply of this, and I picked up some because a few feet of this stuck into a haversack don't weigh nothing. But it can be so helpful in certain jobs where you're concerned about heat or something like that, or I'm wanting to wire something together for a trap or something like that. That thin wire, this is doubled, makes a pretty good trap. I'll show you how thin the actual wire is by itself. There's the actual wire, see? It's awful small. It's thin gauge. Now I'm sure some eagle-eyed out there can read off the end of that and tell me what that gauge is, etc., but it's small. Okay, now I've got that good and twisted in there. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to go around tight, leaving myself about 3 inches. You notice I went around this way. Now I'm going to go in the opposite direction with this one, leaving that eye hole sticking up. Now I'm going to take this one, come over the top, and go through that eye, just like that. And I'm going to grab that with my pliers. Now that's one line inside the other. Okay? I'm going to grab it and I'm going to pull it tight, just like that. Grab that one, pull it tight, and I'm going to grab both of them together and I'm going to twist, just like that. Okay? I'm going to take these two halves, fold them back to this side, and do the final twist right there by twisting it like that. Grab it with my pliers and start twisting. Just like, you know, if you put your glasses on, you blind old coot, you probably need to twist counterclockwise. Okay. Take 2. Counterclockwise. Grab a hold of that and twist counterclockwise a couple turns like that, and then bury those 2 sharp pieces of wire down between, just like that. Alright, now that is solid secured right there. Now I'm going to go to the other end. On this other end, I'm going to run me out a little bit more wire. I'm going to take and double the end over, probably about 4 inches, and twist it up. This will give me the tab to grab a hold of at the end. Just twist it. Now, laying it up here at my top notch with a little bit extra slack, I'm going to line up them notches, and I'm going to put that wire into that notch, go around like 3 times. I'm going to use the spool to help pull. Pull that sucker tight. Come up again, pull it tight. Now, taking that tab and laying it down, I'm going to loosely spiral. I said lay down. There. I'm going to loosely spiral this all the way to the top, pulling on it with the actual coil of wire. Just like that. Get all the way up here to the top, go between them, and then I'm going to spiral back, going in the opposite direction. Just like this. Alright, now that we're all the way down here at the bottom, I'm going to leave myself a little bit of a loop, and I'm going to cut it off with my pliers. Okay, here's that tab I started with, here's the tab I finished with. Now I'm going to take them, spiral them around one another, go back through there, and I'm going to fold it over and get it right here where I can get a good grip on it. Tucking any of these ends back out of the way so they're not going to stick me down the line or be in the way. Okay. Now, come up here and I'm going to grab it, pliers, and twist it up. Pulling it tight, double that in half, grab it again, twist it up. Whole time it's getting tighter and tighter. When you think you got as tight as you can get it, fold it in half again, grab it again. There. Stick that down. Stick that down. Stick that down. And voila. Now, that, I ain't pulling that. The most weight's ever going to be hung on that's probably going to be 10 pounds. And I'm easily putting 50, 60 pounds on it. It ain't giving. Wire, little bitty bit of wire. Now, hauling that to the field, what all have I carried? I don't have to carry all of this. I can just wrap this around something to carry, say, 20, 25 feet in the field. Wrapped around a piece of wood or something like that. But when I get there, I can make something like this. So that will now hook over that limb and give me a pot hook for a quick, easy, fast pot hook. It's easy, it's cheap, it weighs nothing, and whenever it hooks, it locks good and solid. Now, yes, you can do the fancy bushcraft, woodscraft of carving dovetail ends and sliding in pucks and all this stuff, and that is a great knife skill to learn, but it's a little bit time consuming for a pot hook, because I'm trying to make up a pot hook. I'm trying to make up a gear hook in camp, something like that. Yes, I could use cordage if it's not going to be over a fire, but this one is going over a fire, and it's going to be left at a permanent camp. And so I'll just haul in a little bit of stainless steel safety wire that ain't going to rust. It'll be there till the wood rots away. Now, won't it? And whenever it finally does, the wood rots away and everything, I bet you I can straighten out that wire, because it's safety wire, and reuse it on the next one. And I might get 3 or 4 times with this before that wire finally gives up the ghost and I can't use it anymore. All for probably what, 10 feet of cheap little wire. I've made something. This was made a lot back in the days by, like I talked about, taking that broom apart. Pieces of wire would be saved as salvage, especially off of a farm, and carried out in the field to make things, reinforce things, secure things. More so than cordage, because natural cordage rots quick and easy out here. Wire don't, especially stainless steel safety wire. Iron wire would last a long, long time. Old fence wire and stuff like that could be utilized for various jobs out here. And it was used a lot in the old days. So, if you're looking to do some sort of project and you've been on the fence about, I don't know if I want to lash it with paracord or whatever, because one may melt, one may rot, use wire. Don't discount wire. Hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. I'm sorry for being tongue-tied and just fumbly as all get out. If I wasn't trying to do this on camera, I could have made this in 5 minutes. But trying to do it on camera, trying to get everything where you could see, it's a bad day for old guy's vision. Some of you silver wolves understand. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.